guys, I'm Alfred Porter and welcome to week 30 of the Premier League review. If you want to know what we do is we take a look at the past set of Premier League results, we take a look at the Premier League table, and we finish off by looking at the top goal scorers. So here is the past set of Premier League results. These games were played on Saturday the 10th, Sunday the 11th, and Monday the 12th of March 2018. Also next to games are the times in this video, so if you want to hear about specific matches, go to time next to the game and skip out all the crap. But without further ado, let's get into our first match. We start with the biggest game in English football as Manchester United faced Liverpool. A lot of people went into this game expecting United to park the bus from the start and play for a 0-0 draw, but to be fair to them, they did attack Liverpool in the first half and did take the lead in the 14th minute thanks to Marcus Rashford. It came from a goal kick and David De Gea just booted it forward. Romelu Lukaku flicked it on into Rashford, who got past Trent Alexander-Arnold, cut inside and then put the ball into the bottom corner. And United doubled their lead 10 minutes later when Marcus Rashford got his and United's second. Same tactic, long ball booted forward and was controlled by Romelu Lukaku. He rolled it through to Juan Mata that Van Dijk got rid of, but Karius came off of his line and went for the ball. He was never going to get to it, but he came off anyway, and as Van Dijk cleared it, it fell to Rashford, who tucked it away into the same corner. And I can't help but feel if Karius stayed on his line, he could have saved it. United went into the break 2-0 up and the better side all over the pitch. Liverpool were just extremely poor in the first half, but they did improve drastically in the second with them pinning United in their own half, and United spent a solid 10 minutes in their own half from the start of the second half. And Liverpool did get a goal in the 66th minute when Eric Bailly put the ball into his own net. It came as Sadio Mane put the ball into the box, and Eric Bailly just made a hash of the clearance with the ball hitting his heel and creeping in at the near post past his own keeper. And that was how the game ended. Liverpool were constantly attacking in the second half, but they couldn't find a way through to find the equaliser. United did park the bus in the second half, but they had every right to. They attacked, got the 2 goals, and then defended. Like I tell people, I'm fine with teams parking the bus when they've got some goals, but if they just park the bus from the start, that's when I have a problem with it. But anyway, United went past their bitter rivals and have probably wrapped up second place for the season. And we went to Bournemouth versus Tottenham. Bournemouth started the quicker of the two sides and took the lead in the 7th minute through Junior Stanislas. Adam Smith put a ball into the box that Davinson Sanchez didn't deal with, and behind him was Stanislas, who took a touch and drilled a shot back across goal and into the bottom corner. But Tottenham levelled the game up in the 35th minute through Del Alli. Lovely cross from Serge Aurier right in between the keeper and the defenders, which Ali met as it bounced and steered it into the net. And Spurs took the lead in the 62nd minute thanks to Heung-min Son. It came as Del Alli found some space on the left hand side before standing across towards the back post, and the ball hit Son on the calf, bounces and hit the roof of the net. And Tottenham wrapped the game up in the 85th minute when Heung-min Son got his second and Tottenham's third. Bournemouth were throwing men forward and they lost the ball, and one pass forward by Christian Eriksen and Son is away on his own with only the keeper to beat. He drove towards goal, has Lamela to his side so he could have squared it, but instead took it around Asmir Begovic and tapped home. And Spurs put one final nail in the coffin when they made it 4-1 in the 90th minute through Serge Aurier. Moussa Sissoko messed up the first pass but recovered well to slip it through to Kieran Trippier, and his cross seemed to be headed towards the top corner, and Begovic had to react quickly and palm it away, but it went straight to Aurier, who headed into the back of the empty net. And that's the game ended. Pretty straightforward win for Spurs today, who had too much power for Bournemouth to handle. The only thing that Spurs could complain about is the star man Harry Kane was forced off after about half an hour following a coming together with him and Begovic, and he did go off with what looks like an ankle injury. To be honest, I don't care about Tottenham, but if he's fine for England, that's fine. But other than that, it was a great day at the office for Spurs. And we went to West Brom versus Leicester. West Brom took the lead in the 7th minute when Salomon Randon got a goal on his 100th game for the Baggies. From one end to the other really, as Agazi nearly put the ball into his own net, but Foster was able to recover it, and just over a minute later, West Brom took the lead as Oliver Burke picked out Rondon with a low cross and the Colombian poked it home. But Leicester levelled the game up in the 20-minute mark as the classic Leicester duo combined yet again as Riyad Mahrez lifted the ball over the top of the West Brom defence for Jamie Vardy to run onto, and what a finish as the striker evaded the West Brom defenders, let the ball drop over his shoulder and struck it on the volley into the net without even looking. And Leicester took the lead for the first time in the game in the 62nd minute when Riyad Mahrez got the goal. Lovely move from Leicester as substitute Kelechi Iheanacho dinked the ball over the West Brom defence, and the Algerian controls it well and calmly slid the ball into the net. And Leicester wrapped the game up in the 76th minute when they made it 3-1 thanks to substitute Kelechi Iheanacho. Ben Chilwell with the assist as he picked out Iheanacho, and the Nigerian directed his header into the corner of the net for his first Premier League goal for the Foxes. And Leicester made it 4 with one of the last kicks of the game as Leicester had a corner, and their meeting it was Vicente Iborra, who climbed highest and planted his header home. And that's how the game ended. I can imagine a lot of fans getting super excited when West Brom took the lead. You know, finally thought the West Brom fans, we're going to get out of this, aren't we? Well, Leicester didn't really appreciate that as they absolutely trounced them. West Brom look dead and buried right now with fixtures against Liverpool, Man United and Tottenham still to come. The Baggies Premier League future looks bleak. and that's putting it nicely. And we went to West Ham versus Burnley. It went into half-time 0-0 with West Ham having the better chances, but Nick Pope in the Burnley goal was having a great game, pulling off some quality saves to keep his side in it, and Burnley took advantage of their goalkeeper's cracking performance when they took the lead in the 70th minute through Ashley Barnes. A change was made by Sean Dyche a couple of minutes earlier, bringing Chris Wood on for Jeff Hendricks, and that gave Barnes some support up front, and he looked like he was playing a lot better when the sub was made, and this just proved it as Chris Wood teed up Ashley Barnes, who struck it beautifully from outside of the area straight into the top corner. And only 3 minutes later, Burnley doubled their lead thanks to sub Chris Wood. Such a simple goal for Burnley as Johan Goodmanson poked the ball across the box, and there waiting for it was Chris Wood, who converted from 5 yards out. And Burnley made it 3-0 in the 82nd minute when Chris Wood got his second of the match after coming off the bench. It came when Johan Goodmanson took a shot from 25 yards out, and Joe Hart does what Joe Hart does best and spills it right in front of him, and there waiting to pounce was Wood, and he tapped home. And that's how the game ended. A personal message to all West Ham fans that were being mugs at the game: you're embarrassing. You are actually embarrassing. Running onto the pitch when your team is 1-0 down and still in with a chance, and I'm fine with you wanting your board out, but actually going out of your way to intimidate them is f***ing pathetic. How does it feel that your behaviour forced kids, forced families out of the stadium before the match had finished, and not because they were tired of the result, because they were scared? You forced children and families out because parents were scared for their children's safety. Burnley players on the bench actually gave their seats up for your fans because they were terrified. I hope the FA ban any West Ham supporters from attending the game for at least 2 weeks with behaviour like this. West Ham need to play their game behind closed doors. A match that was dedicated to the 25th anniversary of the death of club legend and England legend Bobby Moore, and this is how you behave. You ain't fans, you f***ing thugs. Burnley beat West Ham, and God did they deserve it, and after the way the West Ham fans behaved, I couldn't have been more pleased with this result. And we were at Arsenal versus Watford. Arsenal took the lead in the 8th minute when Shkodran Mustafi scored Arsenal's 1000th Premier League goal at home. Who milestone in this goal, as not only was it the 1000th home goal, it was also the 50th Premier League assist for Mesut Ozil, as he had a free kick that was given away by Sebastian Prödl, and the German put it into the box, and there in a ton of space was Mustafi, who headed it back across goal and into the back of the net. And Arsenal doubled their lead in the 60th minute when Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang got the goal. Quite harsh on Watford because they were the better side in the second half, but they just couldn't find the net, and Arsenal punished them as Henrik Mkhitaryan laid it through to Aubameyang. He timed his run perfectly to leave him 1-on-1 with Karnezis. He rounded the keeper and slotted it into the net. But a minute later, Watford had the perfect chance to get straight back into it when they were given a penalty. Ricardo Pereira tried to squeeze into the box, and for some reason Ainsley Maitland-Niles just left a leg hanging out and just stood there and tripped the Argentine up. Arsenal's biggest fan, Troy Deeney, stepped up to take it, but his penalty isn't the best as Petr Cech got down to it and palmed it away to make his first penalty save for Arsenal. And Arsenal wrapped the game up in the 75th minute when Henrik Mkhitaryan got the goal. As Ozil played a ball into the box that Karnezis pushed away only as far as Aubameyang, and instead of shooting, he laid it off to Mkhitaryan, who fired it underneath the keeper for his first Premier League goal in an Arsenal shirt. And as the game ended, Petr Cech finally getting the 200th clean sheet, becoming the first goalkeeper to achieve the milestone. Arsenal were great in the first half, but the first 20 minutes of the second they were really poor and just allowed Watford to constantly attack, but their second goal, followed by their penalty save in the space of about 2 minutes, killed it off for Watford as Arsenal picked up their first league win in 4 games. And we went to Newcastle versus Southampton. It was a perfect start for Newcastle as just over a minute into the match the Magpies took the lead through Kennedy. And what a fantastic goal this was as Jonjo Shelvey played what is fair to say a hopeful ball up to Kennedy in the box, and the Brazilian controlled it on his chest, spun around his man, caught it on the volley, and he found the bottom corner. And Newcastle doubled their lead in the half-hour mark when Kennedy got his and Newcastle's second. From defence to attack in the space of 30 seconds as a Southampton corner was put in the box, Mario Lemina completely scuffs the shot and Newcastle countered with great pace as Ayoze Perez ran at the defence before sliding it through to Dwight Gale. He gave it first time to Kennedy, who tapped home. And Newcastle got their third 15 minutes in the second half through Matt Ritchie. Jonjo Shelvey with his second assist of the day as he had far too much time and space down the edge of the Southampton box to find Matt Ritchie, who also had far too much time and space in the box, and he slotted it home past Alex McCarthy. And that's how the game ended, and this match saw the end of Mauricio Pellegrino's time at St Mary's as Southampton parted ways with the manager. It has been coming as Southampton look like they have given up and are on a one-way trip to the Championship if they don't pull their finger out. But Pellegrino has left them in a bad way with only 1 win in their last 17 league games and 1 point above the drop zone. It's not looking good, and this match must have been the decider as Newcastle bossed them in every part of the pitch as the Magpies deservedly picked up the win. And we're at Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. Chelsea were all over Crystal Palace in the opening of the match, and they eventually took the lead in the 25th minute through Willian. Just too easy for the Brazilian, as he had it on the left hand side, cut inside of his man, and then sent a low effort towards goal, and it went in via a little deflection and a nick off the post. And Chelsea doubled their lead 5 later when Martin Kelly put the ball into his own net. Chelsea basically walked the ball in as they attacked down the left. Willian toys with his man as Eden Hazard picks it up, fakes a shot, slipped through David Zappacosta, who shoots, but it was blocked off the line by Kelly, but it smacks off of Wayne Hennessy, hits Martin Kelly again, and trickled over the line. But Palace did get a goal back in the 90th minute when Patrick Van Aanholt made it 2-1. Goal had been coming for the Eagles, and on his return, Wilfried Zaha got the assist as he ran at the Chelsea defence, couldn't pack to Van Aanholt, and he slid it underneath the keeper. And as the game ended, Palace were unlucky not to get anything from this game, as they were great in the second half, but their performance in the first sort of killed off any chance they had. Also, Palace should have had a goal in the 85th minute when Alexander Sorloth pounced on a loose ball to drill home. Not quite sure what it was disallowed for though. I couldn't see anything, so they will be furious with that decision, and they will feel robbed that they didn't get anything from this match. And over to Everton versus Brighton. Pretty dire first half, with Everton being on top but not having any chances to really show for their efforts, but they did take the lead in the 60th minute thanks to a Gaetan Bong own goal. The atmosphere at Goodison Park was turning sour, so they chose a great time to get it in the net, and it was a lovely ball into the box from Yannick Bolasie, and it was headed towards Theo Walcott, and Bong tries to get anything on it, but it hits him on the shin and goes into his own net. And Everton doubled their lead in the 75th minute through Cenk Tosun. What a goal it was to mark your first home goal, as Leighton Baines played it to Tosun, and he rifled it into the roof of the net with a little deflection off of Bong. And it would go from bad to worse for Brighton 5 minutes later when Anthony Knockaert got himself sent off. Correct decision by the ref, as I assume Knockaert just got frustrated. Either that, or he's an idiot, or both. Seriously though, he went flying in studs up right onto the leg of Leighton Baines, and Brighton were down to 10 men as he got shown a straight red card. But what I do like about this is Baines did not go down. He just looked at the ref and just went, yo, what's he doing? I really like that. The fact that he didn't go down rolling. He just looked at the ref and just went, did you see that? And the ref sent him off. So fair play, Baines. That was good. That was good. You just didn't go down. And Everton got the perfect chance to put the game beyond any doubt in the 86th minute when they were given a penalty after Shane Duffy was judged to have brought down Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the box, and the ref pointed to the spot. Very soft penalty for me. I personally don't think it was a penalty, but Wayne Rooney stepped up to take it, but his spot kick was brilliantly saved by Matty Ryan. And that's how the game ended. A much needed win for the Toffees as they started the day in 11th, which may sound quite safe, but points wise they're still closer to the drop zone than a European place. Brighton fell to their first defeat in 7 games as Everton kept their first clean sheet of 2018. And we're on to Stoke versus Manchester City. Man City took the lead in the 10th minute when David Silva finished off a lovely team goal. It came as Gabriel Jesus wriggled free of his man, laid it off to Raheem Sterling, who was charging down the right wing. He looked up, side-footed it perfectly into the path of David Silva, and the Spaniard doesn't even break stride as he stroked the ball into the bottom left corner. And Man City doubled their lead 5 into the second half when David Silva got his and City's second of the night. Yet again, a lovely goal by the league leaders as they win the ball back on the halfway line, and with 3 passes, they're in on goal. As the ball was drilled to David Silva on the edge of the box, he laid it off to Gabriel Jesus and ran into the area for Jesus to give it back to him, and Silva steered it past Jack Butland and into the back of the net. And as the game ended, we're getting ever so closer to being able to say Man City are champions. They could win it in 2 games if they win both of them, and to put the ultimate cherry on the cake, they could win it against Manchester United at the Etihad. Man City were always looking comfortable in the game despite what looks like a narrow scoreline. It could have and should have been more, as City picked up an easy 3 points against the Stoke side in trouble. Finally, we've got Huddersfield versus Swansea. It was always going to be a difficult game for both sides, but it would get a lot harder for the visitors as only 11 minutes into the match, Swansea were reduced to 10 men when Jordan Ayew was given his marching orders. Naughty challenge as Ayew went in for a challenge on Jonathan Hogg, high up on the left leg, and the ref showed him the straight red. And I'm not going to lie, there is a very good shout that both men could have been dismissed here because Hogg caught Ayew in a bad place as well. And I think Swansea were a bit hard done by, as in my opinion Hogg should have been dismissed as well. It's a definite red card for Ayew. And I'm gonna put my neck on the line and say it should be a red card for Hogg as well. And that's how the game ended. Honestly, Huddersfield, how have you not won this match? You were all over Swansea, and to be fair, Swansea, they didn't come forward and they did park the bus, which I'm fine with considering they went down to 10 men early on. Swansea defended like their lives depended on it, and they kind of do, considering any point is a big point in this year's relegation battle. Just listen to these stats though. Huddersfield, 81% possession, 30 shots altogether, but only 4 of them being on target, so Swansea did defend well. But you could argue Huddersfield were extremely wasteful, whereas Swansea had 0 shots, none at all. Huddersfield definitely deserved this win, but poor finishing and dog defending from Swansea kept them away. So that's how the game has got for this time. Before we go, let's take a look at the Premier League table and top goal scorers, starting off with with the Premier League table. Starting with the top 5, and as you can see, Manchester City are on the top following their win at Stoke. Man United are second following their win in the biggest game in English football. Tottenham jumped up to third after their win against Bournemouth. Liverpool dropped down to fourth after their loss to Manchester United. And Chelsea make up the top 5 following their win against Crystal Palace. Moving on to the bottom 5, and West Brom are still on the bottom following their loss to Leicester. Stoke in 19th after losing to Man City. Crystal Palace make up the drop zone after their loss to Chelsea. Southampton are 1 point above the drop zone and without a manager following their damning loss to Newcastle. And West Ham make up the bottom 5 after their loss to Burnley. Moving on to top goal scorers, and literally nothing has changed from last week. The only thing that's changed is Raheem Sterling and Romelu Lukaku both got 1 assist. No players got goals this week, so I will run through these quickly. Mo Salah is on top on 24 goals and 8 assists. Harry Kane is next, also on 24 goals but on 2 assists. Sergio Aguero is third on 21 goals and 6 assists. Raheem Sterling is fourth on 15 goals and 7 assists. And Romelu Lukaku makes top 5 on 14 goals and 7 assists. Right, so that's all I've got for this time. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to, and I'll be back next Tuesday for the next episode of the Premier League review. But anyway, if you want to follow my personal Twitter, the link is in the description. If you want to follow us on Twitter to stay up to date about when we go live or upload a video, the link to that is in the description as well, or it's at portionofsport_. If you missed the last episode, that'll be popping on your screen about now, along with a link to the channel so you can subscribe. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to. I've been Mark from A Portion of Sport, and I will see you soon.